Hello guys, and welcome to another amazing video. And in this particular video we're going to take a look at what exactly Python virtual environments are. So let's imagine a scenario where you as a Python programmer is working on two different Python based website projects, and one of the project uses Django version 1.9 while the other website uses Django version 1.10 and so on. Now in such a situation, a Python virtual environment can be really useful and helpful in order to maintain and also manage the dependencies for both projects. Now, when I talk about dependencies, I'm referring to everything that a Python project needs to work even before you as a Python programmer starts writing your own set of codes for the projects in question. So a Python virtual environment is a Python tool that is mainly used to help keep the dependencies required for multiple Python projects separate from each other, so that we as developers don't end up encountering any dependency conflicts as we go about with our Python projects development. So essentially, you can think of a Python virtual environment as sort of a folder where every dependency for a Python project is stored in while developing the project and even after the development of that particular project. Now, this folder-based approach I'm talking about will ensure that all the Python modules and frameworks cannot be interfered with by any other framework or module from a different folder, and this is really a good thing for development because we as programmers would not want to be experiencing unexpected behaviors from the Python frameworks and libraries that we use in a particular project, so that we don't end up spending a lot of our time hunting errors here and there. So I think that by now you should already have a hint as to why we need to use Python virtual environments. But well, let's go a little bit deeper than what you have learned so far. So by default, every Python project on a particular computer system will use the same directory to store and retrieve packages. And by packages, I'm referring to third-party libraries or code that is written by other Python developers that you as a different Python developer would like to use in your own project. Now, one might ask the question as to why all of this matters. So in the above example that I gave as to we developing two different websites, where the first website uses Django version 1.9 and the other website uses Django version 1.10, you have two versions of Django, or it could be any other framework or library. This is going to be a real problem for Python, since Python can't differentiate between the versions in the packages directory. So since we aren't using any virtual environments yet, both Django version 1.9 and the Django version 1.10, that is in the example I gave above, would reside in the same directory, or if you like folder, with the same name. And this is where virtual environments will come into play, because there is going to be a problem. So Python is going to have a hard time differentiating as to whether to use the Django version 1.9 or whether to use the Django version 1.10. So in order to solve the problem of the code of the Django version 1.9 conflicting with that of version 1.10, we just need to create two separate virtual environments for both the Django version 1.9 project and also the Django version 1.10 project. So the great thing about virtual environments is that there is no limit to the number of virtual environments that we can create on a particular computer system for our various Python projects. And that is because essentially virtual environments are basically folders. So let me quickly add that Python virtual environments should be used whenever you work on any Python based project. And this is because it is generally a good and also recommended practice to have one new virtual environment for every Python based project that you work on. Now, this is because we want that the dependencies for every project be totally isolated and also protected from your system's files, and also from files from other virtual environments that are likely to conflict with the files found inside the virtual environment that you are currently working on. Now let's take a look at some of the Python tools, or if you like packages, that we can use to create, delete, activate and even deactivate virtual environments. So virtual env is a third-party dependency managing tool used for creating and managing the dependencies for Python projects. Now, virtual env is the most used and also most popular virtual environment module for the Python version 2 programming language. So the way that you install virtual env, which I said is meant for Python version 2, is to run the command pip install virtual env, and once you run this command and everything goes as planned, virtual env will be installed on your computer, which you can then use to create and also manage virtual environments on your computer. And mind you, this is meant for Python version 2, so take notice of this, that virtual env is meant for Python version 2. Now there is also this virtual environment manager called venv. So venv is a Python module that is used to also create lightweight virtual environments. Now venv is the default virtual environment module for Python version 3 and also by far one of the easiest Python dependency managing modules around for creating virtual environments. So again, the command used to install venv is python 3 install venv, and as I said, venv is meant for Python version 3 and then virtual env is meant for Python version 2. So if you want to install venv on your computer so that you can create and also manage virtual environments for Python version 3, you want to run the command python 3 install venv, and that will install venv on your computer that you can use to create and also manage virtual environments. So pipenv is a new package manager that is used to manage Python projects dependencies, and it is excellent for the common typical workflow of using dependencies like pip, or if you like pip3 and requirements.txt. Now it is worth mentioning that under the hood, pipenv generally combines the use of pip or pip3 and also virtual env into a simple command line tool for ease of use. So if you want to install pipenv on your computer, you can use the command python 3-m install pipenv, and once you run this command, the pipenv virtual environment manager will be installed on your computer. Now I can say from using pipenv that it is very easy to use as compared to the other virtual environment managers that we have spoken about already. So I would like to conclude this video by saying that whenever you create Python virtual environments, I highly encourage you to always try to use the name venv as the name of your virtual environment, since it is a global convention that is easily available in git ignore files. So if you look everywhere on the internet, almost every virtual environment is created using the name venv. So it's not as if you can use any name that you want, but if you want to go with the global acceptable should I say convention, then you have to use the name venv, so that any other virtual environment name that you see out there, you recognize it. So guys, basically that sums it up for this particular video, and if you enjoyed this particular video, I urge you to click on the subscribe button, because that encourages me to create more of these kinds of videos. And if you have any question at all about anything I said in this video, you can leave all your questions in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them if I can. So bye for now, and I'll see you in the next video.